Hello everyone, my name is Jamee Belcher, or Jamie. Today I'll be presenting on an article that arguments immigrant children are often more successful than American-born children, and how the author uses rhetorical strategies to make this case. The article opens with strong language that sets the tone right away. Words like lack of, accusatory, and false immediately show us the author is pushing back against critics of immigration. This choice of wording tells us the intended audience, people who are skeptical of immigration, often align with Republican voices like J.D. Vance or even Tucker Carlson. The purpose is clear. The author wants us to challenge those anti-immigration views and prove a point using evidence. The political context is also important. This piece was written during Donald Trump's second term after the White House had made strong comments on immigration. That backdrop makes the article part of a bigger national debate. To support the argument, the author leans heavily on the research of two professors, Abramitsky and Bustan. Their studies focus on the long-term success of immigrant children in the United States. The article incorporates not just quotes from their research, but also visuals, interactive graphs, charts, and maps of the U.S. These graphics aren't just for decoration. They serve a purpose that is rhetorical. By interrupting the text with graphs, the author makes the data more engaging and easier to process. One of the most influential visuals is the very first graph. It compares the economic mobility of U.S.-born children and immigrant children across different social classes, from poor to lower middle class, to middle class, to upper class, and then finally to rich. As you scroll through, you can actually watch how the path of these two groups diverge. The design of the graph creates imagery. It almost looks like the children are moving up the staircase of success step by step. Throughout the article, the word immigrant is repeated frequently. This repetition reinforces the comparison between immigrant children and those born in the U.S. It keeps the focus sharp and constant, making sure the audience never loses sight of the central claim. In terms of rhetoric, the author uses all three modes of persuasion. For ethos or credibility, he relies on the authority of Abramitsky and Bustan's research, showing that his argument isn't just opinion, but is backed by respected scholars. For logos or logic, he presents hard data through charts, maps, and directed quotes. For pathos or emotions, he uses a story about a daughter who chose to move because of the letter she received. This personal story adds a human touch to all the numbers and graphs. The author also uses contrast as a technique. He praises immigrants for their resilience and success while criticizing figures like J.D. Vance and Tucker Carlson, who often speak against immigration. This contrast highlights the gap between what the research shows and what certain political voices claim. In the end, the article does more than present data. It tries to persuade. By combining visuals, research, and emotional appeals, the author builds a strong case that immigrant children are not just keeping up with American-born children, but in many cases, surpassing them. So to sum it up, the author argues immigrant children are more successful, uses ethos, logos, and pathos to back it up, relies on professors Abramitsky and Bustan as central voices, and communicates through both words and imagery. The overall effect is a clear, persuasive piece that challenges anti-immigration narratives and redefines how we view immigrant success in America. Thank you.